Welcome to another one of number whatever in week whatever of the intuition seminar during the COVID season, and it's been a heavy week in Canada. We've had the terrible shooting that happened in Nova Scotia, and a lot. This is a very shocking event for Canadians to go through, and so let's see what we can get today on kindness. That's what I'm interested about, to explore and share with everyone. I am not 100% myself today as I'm challenging an addiction, but let's see what we can do together as a group. So, what do you guys feel is kindness? What comes to mind?
For me, I think it's important to look at the feelings of empathy. Empathy comes up for me.
Okay.
The ability to really put yourself in the place of someone else, how they would feel.
Okay. What else come up for others? Joe?
Holding space.
Holding
so,
space.
Yeah. So if somebody needs to talk or vent or whatever, rant, just holding space for them.
Okay. For others to kind of feel their emotions, feel themselves. Yeah. What else? Doreen?
I'm really practical, so for me, it's about doing things for someone that they either can't do themselves, or for some reason or another, or that they need done. For example, a friend who needs help with looking after their family, or someone that needs to get shopping done. You know, anything where it's karma, anything that has to do with karmic yoga. In karmic yoga, it's like volunteering without the expectation of getting anything back. To me, that's what kindness is that you do it because it simply it's a space that it needs to be done, and you're available to do it, so you do it.
So like a generosity.
No, it's a practical thing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And there's a uniqueness coming forth now with everyone's nature and how kindness, what it means to you or how you're able to gift. But it sounds like a generosity, right?
I think gentleness with myself to uncover what I'm truly feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm interacting with somebody or myself. When I'm walking, I'm very aware when I'm walking lately that I'm tripping or I'm hurting myself a lot when I'm walking in my space. And based on what you were saying, Dharm, I think the awareness too of addiction and kindness would be freeing ourselves from that.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's an act of love. Yeah. Thank you.
So anything that produces a sense of freedom in our expression of ourselves.
I like that. Anything that produces freedom of expression is an act of kindness. Okay, towards self and others. That's a lovely one. Thank you. What else? Anybody else? Amy?
I was going to say, similar to what Bern was saying, just a type of, or a sort of softness.
Yeah. Okay. There is a softness, a gentleness. Thank you. Yeah. Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Hi. Yeah, I'm also getting similar words to what's been said. I started to get generosity giving, but kind of doing it in that gentle gentle way, out of a place of just like a yeah, pure intention, and just really genuinely wanting to do it. But then when I think about kindness for myself, it's kind of funny because I was journaling this morning, and the thing that came up for me was punishment.
Yeah.
And so bringing up kindness, it's making me think about, you know, being kind to myself, and how the two can coexist, and just naturally being a very practical and a critical type person. I often just struggle with showing kindness to myself, and how do you balance kindness and discipline, because I fall into wanting to discipline myself a lot, which I'm starting to realize is actually underneath is maybe a form of punishment and not
Yeah,
discipline.
it is.
So yeah, so the word kindness just is bringing up a lot for me right now. So
Good.
yeah,
That's good. Yeah, we have these ideas about that we, instead of being kind, how many of us have feelings that kindness is a type of it's something you do when you have time, or when you have extra, or it's a nice virtue to have, but it's not a necessity. Like, how many of you feel like, oh, if I'm always being kind, then fill in the blank? How many of you see that, well, if I need to get something done, I can't be kind to myself. I need to be something else? How many of you have those kind of ideas? Grace?
I was just agreeing, but yeah, I can elaborate.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's exactly like you said. It's like, if I have any extra energy, which I don't often, then I can be kind. It's like something, like right now I feel like I don't have it in me,
Yeah,
to be kind to others, to myself. It seems like it's too much work.
Yeah.
Which is strange, because I think kindness should come from a place of effortlessness and just
right.
of ease. But that's not where I am right now. I feel like it would take too much out of me to be kind.
Yeah, yeah. We have all these ideas about that. Casey?
Very similar to Grace. As you started talking about kindness, and a whole pile of things triggered.
Okay.
I feel like, I'm not sure if it's a facade on its own or if it's part of another facade, but kindness is a huge facade that I've kind of discovered.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing that it had to do with my survival.
Okay.
If I wasn't kind in my family, there was hell to pay. There was punishment. There was degradation. There was if I wasn't kind, and I wasn't kind out in the world, if I didn't look like I was kind,
yes,
then there would be shame coming back at me as well. I had to represent the family, and that was how we did it, was through kindness. So I have a huge facade about that. So kind of the similar thing as Grace, like, I'm exhausted, and I'm doing that sort of kindness. I do have a desire to find, like, the effortlessness that Grace was talking about, a true kindness within myself. But right now it's like, I recognize that I've just totally self-sacrificed in order to get that back.
So it's really good to recognize that I have a kindness facade. I have no idea what it really means. So you're gonna have to deconstruct that. And then, yeah, okay. Jill?
Casey, I don't think I could say it better, but I mean, Casey just exactly said the exact words. It's a facade. It's if I never had the opportunity to be kind to myself because I always had to be kind to others. To be kind to myself would have been labeled as selfish and irresponsible and unkind. How could you think about yourself when others need your help? So I guess it's the only thing I would add to basically what Casey and Grace said. But yeah, exactly the same thing.
Thank you. Adrian?
Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing. To me, kindness is a facade. How we think about it in our society, you be nice to people, you help them when they need the help, you put a smile on your face, you ask them how you're doing, I don't want people to think my family was terrible, but I don't think kindness was like something that was one of our facades. We have lots of other ones in our family, but I was never forced to be kind to people. I felt like I always had good boundaries, but I see it a lot in my sister-in-law, and that is a huge value in their family. And she will sacrifice herself over and over and over again, and not just her energy and her time, but like her authenticity. Like I see it so clearly that she will be fake the most of the time to honor this facade of being kind. And that's not something that I feel like I ever struggled with. I feel like I have a good I set my boundaries and I don't do things that I don't feel like I want to do or I have time for. So when you brought up like, what does kindness mean to you? Like it doesn't, to me, it doesn't feel like it drains my energy. But I think it's because I don't have a facade around it.
So some of us are recognizing that we actually have a facade, kindness facade that we need to break through. And some of us are recognizing that we actually are not kind to ourselves. And wouldn't even know what it means. Like, I wouldn't even know what it means. Am I even kind? And that maybe it is different for different people because it's part of your unique nature, or that you get to choose how to express kindness. But my question to myself is, can I actually be kind to others if I'm not kind to myself? Is it even real? Like, can you even convey that to somebody else if you don't have it towards yourself? Like, it's just not real. Like, then it must be a facade. So that's good. Really good awareness from everyone. And I would love for us to hear from our guides. Oh God. What is it? Like, what is kindness? Why is it necessary? What is my unique expression of kindness? Why is it necessary? Like, for me, I feel like kindness is some kind of a scientific necessity to ourselves. It's not just something you do that is nice and on the side, but a very necessary ingredient to being who we are. That's kind of like little glimpses of an idea I'm getting. Then we can ask, why is kindness to self necessary? How am I being unkind to myself? Now, this is where it starts to get real. How am I being unkind to myself? And then you can start to see the pain you're causing. How is it affecting me? And how can I develop kindness for myself? So these are my list of 7 questions that I'm thinking of exploring today. If you don't get to all of them, then you can continue to ask them for yourself after. And let's see if it can develop our desire for changing how we treat ourselves. And I think that, see, I feel like when we talk about, I gotta be firm, I gotta be disciplined, I gotta be, mean and rough on myself. Like Sandy was saying, this is all beginning to sound like self-abuse. She calls it punishment. And I've taken punishment another step and going, that's not punishment, that's abuse. And so if we were kind to ourselves as children, we will not allow people to be unkind to us. We won't put up with it. So how are our family going to use us for their addictions? They won't get away with it. So I feel that as you develop kindness for yourself, you become less tolerant of self-abuse and other people treating you badly. That's that sensitivity that you will regain in some way. But I'm really curious about kindness as a scientific discovery. It's like, why is it there? And why is it that when people are genuinely kind to us, we respond? We're like jelly. There's a response from within us to pure kindness. That can be life-changing. You have that one interaction and your life changes. And it must be because somebody was purely kind to you in that moment. Has to be something genuine there. Okay, so how do you feel about all these questions? About kindness? Yeah? Okay. So let's ask, what is it and why is it necessary? Let's start with that question. And then we'll just, take a couple of minutes, turn off your videos if you want to, receive some answers, and then we'll come back and discuss. All right, everyone. I hope you got something. I had a bit of trouble with the answer because I don't want to feel all soft and mushy. I think that's my reason. Why I don't want to feel some of it. So that means I still have a lot of feeling of self-blame and self-punishment blocking the softness of receiving the answer. Okay, what you guys get? I won't be able to hear from everyone, but I'm going to get a sense of some answers. Catherine?
I wanted to start with that because something that came to me, just kind of segueing off what you said, is kindness doesn't always mean it has to be nice. That was something that came to me as well. Is it's like, so answering the questions, what is kindness? What came to me is actually just the image of just being hugged. So like the support that's there, the love that's there, the reassurance that's there, and why is it important? Is because it teaches us how to treat ourselves and others the way that God treats us. And then it dropped in that it's not always nice. Like kindness doesn't mean that you have to be nice. It's sometimes kindness is delivering a really harsh message, or it is saying you need to grow out of this or let go of that addiction or whatever. That's actually done in kindness, but it's not like it's nice. Yeah. So that's what I was saying, like for you saying you can't receive the softness. I was like, kindness doesn't have to be soft, not to me. It's, that's just was what came in for me.
Beautiful answer. Thank you, Catherine. Sandy?
The answer I got was kindness is doing something and expecting nothing back.
Okay.
And it is necessary because it brings us back to our true nature.
Yeah. Okay. That's a beautiful answer. Thank you. Who else?
Can I share?
Yes. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Dharm. It's been a long time.
Good to see you. Yeah. She's been all over the world. South America. And she's back.
I'm back. Yeah, I got a really beautiful kind of message.
Okay.
It was that kindness is an offering that comes from within your heart. It's a gift from the heart. And I saw this vision of pure white light, and it's something that's really felt within your heart. And I could feel like my heart just exploding with it. Wow. And so I got the message that it is love.
Okay.
And that it's necessary to push out the darkness in the world and for the world to enter a new age of awakening into a realm of light. That's what I got.
Okay. So maybe that's a new normal coming up. That'd be a nice one to get into. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
you're welcome.
Okay. There was somebody else that raised their hand. I can't remember. Amy. Hi.
For me, like all the things that were mentioned before. So the ones like act of love, a generosity, offers freedom or a space, and that one really resonates with me. That's what I actually, when I think of kindness, that's what it feels like, is like there's just lots of space. And like a gentleness, but why is it necessary is because it changes a path. It can snap people out of a funk or a pattern or an addiction, but basically, yeah, it can change a path.
Okay. Pretty profound, eh? Just a moment of a gift to be given like that. Anita, I'm really curious what you got. Noreen, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I got, if I don't open to kindness, not much good will happen.
Can you speak a little louder?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Just a little bit louder.
Yeah, if I don't open to kindness, is that better?
That's much better.
Okay. Yeah, if I don't open to kindness, not much good will happen in my life.
Oh, wow. Wow, it is absolutely necessary for you.
Yeah, for me it is. Yeah.
Wow.
And it is, it's an expansion of self. I am allowed to kindness to myself. Also lets me receive kindness from others. And I'm allowed to have kindness for myself.
Okay.
Yeah. And it allows me to receive kindness from guides and from God.
Wow.
It opens me to, and then I can open to love, to so much lovely things. It's the beginning of all good things.
I like that. I like that answer. Kindness is a beginning. If you open to kindness, now love can come in. That's beautiful.
Yeah, for me, it's like impossible because I've been just bashing myself.
Yeah.
Not much good. Yeah.
It'd be really crucial for us to see that when we're in self-judgment, we're actually agreeing with abuse, we're agreeing with the abuser, and we're actually adding to the energy of violence. Standing up to it is really important because that's us saying no to the energy of violence in the world. And until we do, we're actually in agreement. So like your soul is still agreeing with it. That's why it's key to go back in there. And kindness, my goodness, you guys are really selling me on this.
Because I grew up like I'm evil. I felt I'm evil my whole life. I was evil since I was a child. So I didn't have a facade of trying to be kind because I knew there was no use being kind because I could, it was impossible.
And you never received it. And now let yourself receive it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still healing from all of that. Yeah. Thank you. And Noreen.
I had a long diatribe, but mostly about what I talk about all the time to anybody who listens, but I don't. But basically what it was is that kindness, I feel is, I forget who had said it, but I feel that kindness is a strength and it's actually a deep value. Being nice is just an action of something that you may have to do or as a result of being, possibly a result of being kind, but maybe not. Because we can be nice to someone, but not feel it any deeper than maybe. But kindness, to me, is this deep value. When you said you were doing something about kindness, I go, whenever anybody says, what's the legacy that you want to leave? I want everybody to know, I want that whatever is on my gravestone, I'm not going to have that, but is that I was known to be kind, and kind that is something that exudes, that's something that it comes because it's almost like a must that comes out of the body. But being nice is not. Being nice is something that comes kind of from maybe outside, or something that you want to show that you are something. But kindness is actually, it's something that is cultivated as a value, and it is a system that you live by. To me, that's to me what it's like.
You've put a lot of thought into it. You've been developing that in yourself for a while. That's really beautiful. Okay, well, that takes us to the next question I want to ask. What is, now we're going to have many, many unique expression of kindness as we develop, but for now, what is my unique expression of kindness? And why is kindness to myself necessary? What is my unique expression of kindness, or what are my unique expressions to kindness, of kindness, and why is kindness to self necessary? Let's take a moment and get those answers. Okay, so I forgot to share what I got in the first question. What is kindness and why is it necessary? It's about seeing myself as God sees me, and to feel that I'm a worthy creation of God, made with love and care, and to feel the compassion for the errors I carry in me. So, and treating somebody as if they have worth, and it restores their self-respect and their love for themselves. It is also a type of prayer, and it reminds themselves of their worth. So basically, when I'm being kind to somebody, I think I was being shown how my guides feel towards me, that when they're being kind to me, what they're seeing is they're seeing me the way God sees me. They see me as a very precious creation of God that was made with a lot of love and care. And that by treating me that way, by treating each other that way, we're actually kind of reminding them that they are actually a worthy creation of God and they have worth. And they start to maybe remember that for themselves. Something starts to wake up in them, and it starts to restore their sense of humanity and worth. That's what I got for the first time. Okay, and for this one, how did you guys do? What is my unique expression of kindness? Did you guys get some answers that were cool? That were unique? Anita?
Yeah, my unique expression is to not judge and to let others feel that I don't judge.
Can you speak louder again? So sorry, Anita.
Oh, sorry. To not judge and to let others feel that I don't judge them.
Yes.
And to let others be as they are. To tell the truth. And to let me be as well.
Okay.
And why is kindness to self necessary? I can't repent, I can't receive love if I am being harsh on myself, and I can't not forgive either if I don't have kindness.
That's beautiful. I like that you could see your unique expression, that you have this ability to not judge yourself or others. And that's you.
Yeah, but I do. A lot of the time I really do.
Yes. And you can see where it's coming from. But that actually, unless you're being kind, you can't even repent. Because what you think is repentance.
And forgive. You're just bashing myself.
Absolutely. That is not repentance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That's a good answer. Thank you. Somebody else? Yes, Kathy.
So for the unique expression, I find when I connect fully with my true empathy and intuition are really connected. So when I am fully in that space, then I'm able to participate more in others' stories.
Okay.
And then that in turn gives me a sense of purpose and clarity in my own life.
Okay.
And why is kindness to self necessary? I think if you think of interconnectedness and like a thread between all of us, like if we withhold that kindness to ourselves and to others, that thread will be broken, and then there's nothing, there's no love, there's no connection. It's just an empty void to me. It's despair, right? It leads to despair. in my life anyway.
It's a very significant answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I find when I block, what did I say? I block the flow of connection with others. Then I block my spirit guides. I block everything.
Wow.
And just fear just takes up that void.
Yes.
So
okay. So when you're kind to yourself, that connection get restored, and then you're kind to others. Wow. It's like a never-ending flow of repair and restoration.
Yeah.
It's an amazing answer. Good. Okay. I would love for us to feel proud about our unique expression. Like, oh, that's so cool about me. I didn't know that. Didn't know that was me being kind. Sandy? Sandy, are you still there?
Yes.
Right.
Sorry, I was writing that down because it's so beautiful. And it really it really resonates with me. So what is interesting when I asked the first question is I got nothing. Okay. And then when I inquired a little bit further, what I realized that if we are talking about kindness as a form of this giving or the selfless giving, I think I have some kind of like block or fear around that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I really, and it's something that I've been really kind of working on, because what I've realized is I take a lot more than I give generally. So I've just really been actively working on how to give, but I didn't connect to kindness until now. And the connection just feels really, really, really strong. Also the other thing, which is interesting when connection was brought up, is that I actually don't receive kindness. I have a hard time accepting kindness from other people.
Sure. Yes.
This is fascinating, because someone will do something, I guess because I don't do things selflessly, it's hard for me to like understand when someone does it. It blows my mind so much. Even if it's like someone just giving me an apple, I'm like, oh my God, you just gave me an apple and you're not expecting anything back. Like, I don't even understand.
There's a lot of self-harshness that's causing it. The reason why, there's a lot of self-harshness.
And then what's also interesting is that anytime someone does something nice like this for me, I always, always, always feel the need to do something for them. Like, I can't just accept it as like, oh, you did something for me. It's always like, okay, how can I do something for this person? How can I repay them? How can I return the favor? Even though they're not expecting it, but I put pressure on myself to do that. Because
if you can stop doing that, you will challenge your addiction. That feeling of I need to do something back for you now is an addiction. If you can stop that, it will drop you into this horrible self-judgment you have about yourself, and let you work through that. Because then you can feel, why am I treating myself so badly? How did that come about? And then you'll start to heal some pretty deep stuff.
Okay.
And you actually invalidate somebody else's gift when you do that.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're now engaging in emotional addiction in order to avoid some terrible feelings inside of yourself. So challenge it and see. It'll feel terrible, but it'll take you to cause. It'll expose where it's coming from. By some real terrible feeling about yourself. That's where it's coming from. Good answer, Cindy. Thank you. Okay, others, what you guys get? Anybody else want to share? Okay. What I got was, recently I've been exploring prayer. Again, I look at it as a scientific discovery. What is prayer? Why is it important? I was asking my guides about prayer and then try to get some feelings from God about prayer and why does it work when I pray for people? What's going on? It's just a new discovery that whenever I pray for people, it seemed to have an effect. And why is that? You want to know why the good stuff is working. And so there's a new discovery about my nature in prayer and what it means. And then what I got for myself, my unique expression of kindness is that I like to figure out what's going on in an issue in order to solve it, which is a big part of my nature. Give me a problem and I really need to figure it out. And I'm always trying to figure out how can I help with the situation or with the person. I have deep empathy for another person's suffering, and then I want to sort it out. Thank God I can pray now instead of having to do something. Prayer is also very, very effective. And why is kindness to self necessary? Because I am a worthy child of God. And this kindness to self helped restore that feeling inside of me and to receive healing of my broken self. It restores my feeling of worth. Slowly, it starts to start the idea of I must have some worth. And then broken, it actually allow healing to come in from my guides, from my environment, to heal the wounded child that in covering over the wounding, you engage addictions. That's what the addictions are for, most of the time. So if you take away the addiction, now the broken self is exposed. And then the kindness to self will allow for the healing to begin. But I like how it restores our sense of worth, not only for ourselves, but for others. If being kind to somebody else help them to maybe start remembering their true worth as a child of God, you know, then it's that self-ignition. You're waking up from within yourself to be treated as if you have worth. That can be very, very healing for others. Okay, I can see a lot of wheels turning for us in our answers. This is really good. So let's ask the next two questions. How am I being...
Hey, Dharm.
Sorry, yes?
Sorry, before we ask the question, I had a question for you. When you say like child of God, I just wanted to understand what you mean by that for you. What does that mean?
Okay. For myself, I literally see myself as God's child. I see when I say mom or dad, that's God now. I'm divorcing myself from my physical parents. And I've received feelings from God where God is like literally saying, I made you, I created you, you're my child. And so I literally see that God is my mother and my father. That's where I'm at and growing towards it more and more.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. You know, the times when I feel feelings and I go, you know, no physical parents could have ever matched what I'm looking for in a parent. Like our physical parents never had a chance. Biological parents never had a chance. For what we're really looking for, only one being can give us that. So I've had this feeling of, I forgive my physical parents, biological parents, because no one could have given me this. No human could have given me this. And so I think, you know, addictions, we call ourselves parents to our children, but it was always going to fail. It was always going to be disappointing and create bitterness. And maybe sometime in the future, we'll start to say, we're your biological creation of your physical body, but your real parent is God. And that's where your feelings should go to. And I wonder what kind of relationships we will have, what kind of children we'll have, if that was our idea. And of course, the child has a choice. We have a choice to develop a natural love where we develop ourselves. And we can be very, very wonderful, full, perfect people by doing that and not acknowledge God. Like that's a choice. We're not needed to. But for myself, I'm very big in relationships. And obviously I've been looking for my parents my whole life. I used to think I was adopted. Things were so bad. It felt better to think I was adopted. So I've always been looking for a parent. And that's helped my development because my soul is open to this longing for, where's my mom? Who's my dad? And so that pain has kept me opening to God. It's been a good thing. Not that I'm done being pissed with God. That took 20 years, but we're getting there. Okay, thank you for that question, Lisa. So next question, 2 questions are, how am I being unkind to myself? And how is that affecting me? Wow, these answers are very revealing. I feel like I've just been hit like a bell that's just been rung, like, ooh, man, very significant answers. Okay, what did you guys get for this? How am I being unkind to myself, and how is it affecting me? Who's brave enough to share? Jill.
So this has actually been a very tough subject for me as, but how am I being unkind to myself and how that is affecting me? I can't find out who I really am if I'm being unkind to myself.
Wow.
And of course, how am I being unkind to myself is through judgment and punishment and self-hatred. And how it's affecting me is that, it's just, I can't have a true relationship if I'm not being kind to myself.
My goodness, you can't have true relationships if you're not being, just like what Kathy got there earlier, hey? That's very significant. Yeah. Wow, thank you, Jill. Okay, who else would like to share? Kathy?
So I'm being unkind to myself when I'm withholding who I truly am. Through nature, I withhold that my true nature from others that I love, for fear of not being accepted or being discovered that I'm fake in some way. And how's that affecting me? I realize that I'm so addicted to approval from others.
Yeah.
So I know that what I think my kindness is not really pure.
Okay.
And that leads to self-deprecating. So I'm constantly undervaluing myself, even if people give me feedback that, oh, that was, you did that well or whatever. It's never going to ring true, right? And so I'm always disparaging myself. So I end up being falsely modest. It's just bullshit, really,
Yes.
So, yeah, and then I end up really sad and despairing and feel shame, and it's just a cycle. So,
it's a cycle.
Yeah, it's sometimes you have breakthroughs, but then you fall into that pattern. It's trying to I just got to go deeper and deeper. That's it. And this is really helpful. It's so wonderful to hear everybody's true nature and truth coming out, and it helps me to be really true to myself, like to really not pretend.
Absolutely. So and everyone's answers are opening up doors for everybody else. Yeah. Thank you. Wow, that's really significant. What a significant topic. Excuse me. Anybody else want to share? Casey?
Similar to Jill's, actually. Judging myself was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like neon lights, biggest one. They were trying to tell me. And how it's affecting me, it's keeping me in a state of exhaustion, and also keeping me from myself, my true self, and keeping me from having access to my guides and God. It also is giving abusive spirits and abusive and manipulative people access to me. I'm open to that because I'm in agreement with the judgment and the abuse.
Yeah. Which then keeps them darker because they're not being confronted. So they also then become darker and darker. Yeah, it contributes to that. Okay, there's a lot of answers about how kindness reveals your true self. A lot of people getting that kind of answers, like kindness is about being real, or it helps you to discover who you really are, or be who you really are. That's I didn't see that coming. What a plot twist. I love those. If you can tell, I love mystery novels. Who else? There was somebody else that raised their hand. Vern, was it you, Vern? Do you want to share?
It wasn't me, but I will. Judging myself, then it turns to projecting that on others, judging others and treating others that way. And it's a vicious cycle.
Okay.
Because then others are feeling judged and they're defensive. They may come back, and there's a back and forth of, there's an interplay. And it also, when I'm judging myself, forcing myself, making myself wrong, angry, self-controlling, there's no room for play. And play is play and just being in grace and, looking at the beauty of the world, being touched, feeling grateful. Those to me are more of the feelings, the emotions that are closer to God. And so I'm not able to access those. Not able to access that. Yeah.
And what's amazing is that if you're being kind to yourself, then you're not going to judge yourself, and therefore you're not going to treat anybody else badly either. Like, that solves quite a few problems in one go. And it all came from there. It's like, oh, that's why I'm treating people badly. I'm treating me badly. Okay. Guess where the solution is to that? Thank you. That's really good. Jess?
Hey, how am I being unkind to myself?
Can you speak up a little bit, Jess? Speak up. Yeah.
How am I being unkind to myself? Yeah. Self-attack, bullying, resentment, self-sabotage, procrastination, not loving my body, resisting fear, judging everything, still afraid of making mistakes, punishment.
Okay.
And how is that affecting me? I stay frozen. I can get sick, no clarity, disconnected from my guides and God, engaging addictions, tantrums, more lack of focus, more mistakes, more judgment, more self-punishment. So it's perpetuating this cycle.
A lot of us are getting answers that when we're not kind to ourselves, we're not able to hear from our guides. That's also another interesting answer, that you can't even connect to your guides because of the lack of kindness. This is getting bigger than I thought. Thank you. Noreen?
It's interesting when you had first asked that, because I thought, well, actually right now I'm being the most kind that I ever have, because I'm in this Zoom group that I kind of thought was about developing intuition, but it's really about healing, which is fabulous. And I had the opportunity to have counseling sessions that are affordable, that I've put off for a long time. So I thought, oh, I'm being kind to myself. And I'm in a women's group that's also about supporting women, and I've always wanted that. So I was going, this is actually, but then of course, it was, what really came up is I'm being unkind to myself when I'm in denial of that I do need to get through this healing and move through the healing that I have to do, and that I'm in denial when I push away or don't let that anger from the past, from the unhealed past, come up and out, and that is being unkind to myself, because then it does everything all these other wonderful women said, is it suppresses that true expression, or not the true, but the complete expression of me. It's not that I'm not completely whole until I know I need to move through that, but that is, you know, that ugliness is, that's what, or that expression of anger is not accepted.
Yeah.
You know, when I want to express it, it's not accepted. It's like, you know, why are you angry? Why are you still angry? Why are you angry at the past? Those are the questions that I get from the outside. And so that compresses me. And so I compress myself.
Yeah.
And so I'm not that fullness that I truly want to be.
Yeah.
That wholeness, that when I know that I can do that work down, dig it out and have it come out, that is not, that doesn't, you know, that I feel that there's a joyfulness available underneath that.
Yes.
If I can just allow myself to be kind enough to myself to say, fuck you guys, I'm going to do it anyway, and it doesn't matter.
So it's really good insight that suppressing emotion, painful emotion, and therefore holding it in your soul, and it breaks down your body, is unkindness. That is not being kind. That's a really good answer. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Adrian, I'm really curious. What did you get? If you want to share.
Did you say me? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the way I'm not kind to myself is I put a lot of pressure. So I mean, it's similar to what a lot of people are saying. And
okay.
But it doesn't so much feel like judgment. It just feels like pressure and expectation, and this fear of failure or making a mistake is my big one. Yeah. So
watch the Wednesday one. The Wednesday one was on mistakes.
Oh, okay.
Well, we just did I send you a copy? I hope I did.
I don't know. I will look again. I can't remember.
Okay. Remind me. Oh, just go to the page and find the Wednesday one. That was lovely.
Okay. Okay, good, because I need help with that.
Absolutely. Thank you. Our expectation and demand on ourselves is an act of unkindness. Like, that's something to unpack by itself. It'll take us a while to figure that out. And the answers are so precious. Okay, the ways that I am unkind to myself is I should have known, I could have been able to figure this out, I should have known what I was doing, I should have known what it was going to, the consequence that could have come out of something. Look at the mess I've made. How can anyone love me now? Self-attack. God is not going to love me. It's like I'm controlling how I think others should treat me. That's an act of unkindness. And how it's affecting me is that I then allow others to abuse me in similar ways. And I'm agreeing with abusive spirits, and I'm keeping them in that darker, so they continue to get darker and darker and darker. And that actually in any areas in which I am now kind to myself, it is like a natural boundary. That basically kindness is a boundary. In areas that I'm kind to myself, when I feel a projection coming from spirit, I will go, I'm not doing that to myself. I'm not going to treat myself that way. That's harsh. What's going on here? Who are you? So it's like a natural boundary get created where I will not accept that treatment from anybody. It just feels harsh. So it's, and also the repentance that I would like to will need to engage is that in ways in which I'm not kind to myself, I'm also allowing others to join in and become darker. So, whereas in areas in which I'm kind, when I receive that projection, I'll actually engage the spirits and ask them, going, why are you treating me so badly? What's going on for you? And have a conversation with them and see sometimes if they can be helped. And also the more that these people keep receiving this pushback of, you're not treating me nicely, I can't let you do that. The more they keep receiving that messages from everyone, the more they'll then start to go, I'm not getting away with something. Am I wrong? Maybe something is wrong with me. But when we allow it, they don't get the feedback. That's something that eventually will help people that are harmful if they keep receiving that being stopped, because we won't accept it. But that's why you can see how as children we were not treated with kindness, and we were not allowed to be kind to ourselves in ways in which you've all described, because that's the only way we will allow or accept terrible treatment. So that was part of the breakdown of our sense of self, breakdown our feeling of worth, breakdown remembering this feeling that we must have, that we are loved and precious and really, really cared for. Even if our physical environment can't do it, somewhere there's something coming to us from somewhere else, but that then get cut off. Okay, so last question we can ask is, how can I develop kindness for myself? Let's take a moment and ask that. Okay. My goodness. How can I develop kindness for myself? I think I have a guide that's a poet. At some point, I get deep enough in myself where I can receive these answers. It's almost like seeing poetry. But then they create very beautiful imagery that then just sits with you. All right, what you guys get? I'm really curious. I'd love to hear from everyone if you all feel like sharing. I think this is crucial. Yes, Catherine.
One way that came in terms of developing, and I think that's a good word to focus on, because obviously if we struggle with how we're already being unkind, we have to develop that as a new skill. The way that I started, or the answer that came to me, because I'm a very logical person, is, well, you need to ask. So ask your spirit guides and God for help. So showing me what kindness to myself looks like. And then going back to times when I wasn't kind to myself and forgiving myself for that particular instance, and maybe trying to relive the scenario if I had made a different choice, so I can create a new memory to attach that to. So it's kind of more allowing myself to heal from the self-abuse that I've caused from my own unkindness. Something that Adrian was talking about with a lot of pressure is one way that I can develop kindness for myself is taking that pressure off, the pressure of needing to be perfect or needing to be good enough, or anything like that. So just if you can take that pressure off, for me, that's one way that I can develop kindness to myself.
Beautiful. Thank you. Who else? Casey?
The first thing that I got was expressing my passions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like connecting, getting into my body that way. And then talk with Sarah, my guide, be in my body and really be real with my emotions, like kind of like what we did at the beginning of the call, like get down into what the actual feeling is right now, instead of just going, oh yeah, I feel this, and then going off on my business.
Yeah.
And similar to what Catherine got as well, like asking for help in recognizing, for me, when I'm specifically judging myself, like when I'm doing it, why I'm doing it for that specific moment, and how can I forgive myself, forgive others, repent towards myself, those sorts of things. Ask for help around what I need in that specific moment of harm.
Okay. And the answer Catherine got was show me what that would look like right now. If I were to be kind to myself right now, show me what that would even look like, because I don't know what that even means.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you. Who else? Kathy?
So I would have to start by removing some of the blocks of the addictions. And for me, it would be stop the martyr behavior.
Yes. Okay.
Which I developed over a number of years from being a child and looking after everybody else.
Yeah.
And then go deeper. Once I can let go of those addictions, just slowly go deeper into what it is I truly want, because I'm not going to get the answers from my guides or from my intuition if I'm blocking them.
Yes.
And sometimes I know I'm creating that because, I've got too much to do. I've got to look after everybody that's in my household right now. I've got to make sure everyone's okay and fed, and, it's just creates disharmony for others because I've got this martyrdom going on.
Yeah.
So once I get through that and just let that go and say, it's okay if I go off and meditate and look for my intuition and guides to get answers for the day. I don't allow the time for myself because I've got to do it for everyone else first.
That's right.
And that's just a way to, it's a defense mechanism, right?
Oh yeah, those are addictions to avoid some other feelings. And
Yeah.
I like what you said. What do I truly want? Connecting to what do I really want is an act of kindness.
Yeah.
Connecting to your true passion.
Yeah, the passion and what Byrne said about just seeking that joy.
Yes.
And that playfulness that, you've got it in there and how much it can lighten everything. It's just seeking that would be just so wonderful.
Okay, yeah, Byrne's connecting to that quite a bit as well, that playfulness that you need in order to connect to God. That lightness, thank you. Okay, who else? Anita?
Yeah, I need to stay away from internet, spend time with myself doing nothing.
Oh, lovely.
Because I have a hard time, because I always have to do two things at the same time.
Yes, okay.
And challenge some addictions, and I'll ask my guides to be with me and seek out my guides, ask for guidance, love, really, and compassion.
Okay.
Yeah, and no chocolate. Should challenge that addiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And you see how when you speak of addiction, it doesn't sound like, oh, those addictions, I'm a horrible person, I gotta stop my addictions. It's like, no, I gotta love myself. I gotta stop the addiction because I love myself.
Yeah.
A different tone to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna get different results. It really helps to see how damaging your addictions are, because then you're like, I can't do that to myself. What am I doing? This is harmful.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Thank you, Anita. Who else? Noreen, what did you get?
I'm just writing down what you said. I have to stop my addictions because I love myself. Because as soon as she said chocolate, I'm going, I feed myself chocolate because I love myself.
Yeah. It takes a while to see the connection, I know. At first, our addictions feels like love. It takes a long time.
Yes, feeling like love, yes. Mine was just associated with what I'm doing with this new extended healing path that I'm going up, that I will be kind to myself when I recognize that those people that truly love me will be with me. Because I think that if I think that I freak out when I'm going through my healing, that I will lose the people that are around me. And I said, and so it was that, give them a break. Why would you judge them with that yardstick?
Yes.
The people would truly love you. They will support you and truly help you move through that. Otherwise that that those relationships were hollow. You were allowing them to remain hollow, or you were hollow. So that's what came to me.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Okay.
Bern, what did you get?
Well, at first I thought developing kindness for myself, it's completely backwards, would mean that I could be so good at everything. I would be able to keep the routine and remember the things that were important to me. And then I looked back on, the clue was to look back on Wednesday's webinar on mistakes and remember that the mistakes led to me feeling shame. Yes. So each time that I feel that I'm not keeping to what I want to do, I feel shame.
Yeah.
And so I need to give myself the freedom to just be and do and to experience that shame.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I'm going to develop. And also I realized just sitting here, a big aha came that I'm often dabbling in working with God and my guides, and I also work with meditation and the energy of Buddha light. And I realize I don't trust my guides and God to give me what I need. So there's this play back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
So that's something for me to work with, and because I like to just sit and meditate and not do anything but just sit.
Yeah.
But on the other side of that is a meditation that is guided, or I have to do it this way in order to receive this. Right. And that to me is the addiction of that. I don't trust that I can get what I want just from being with my guides and God, or just from being and sitting quietly.
And
that's not enough.
And to let yourself grieve that, though, to release the emotion. God, I feel you're not going to take care of me. It's right. A feeling to release. God, I feel you will not come true for me, because look at what happened at this time and that time and this time, and you didn't come true for me there. And go back to those experiences, let it come out. Let yourself grieve.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good one. Thank you. Adrian.
Just my dog is going nuts. Just come back to me.
Jess, what did you get?
I got get enough rest, drink more water, get outside and connect to nature every day, see God in plants, garden, lay in the grass, watch the clouds, slow down, breathe, cry, grieve, fall apart, make space for love to enter you, open up, calm your nervous system.
Okay, beautiful. Yep, you got it. Thank you. Jill?
I just got one very simple word. Feel. Feel.
My goodness. Okay. When you're feeling, you're being kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Grace, do you feel like sharing what you got?
I didn't. I have a block to developing kindness for myself.
Yeah.
I'm realizing throughout this whole session that I have a lot invested in being unkind to myself.
Yeah.
It's actually a pretty big addiction of mine, because I'm really angry that I have to stop being unkind to myself, and I don't. At this point in time, I don't want to. Yeah. So I'm not really sure where to take that, but there's a lot of fear.
Okay.
I don't want to feel. Yeah.
Perfect. So basically, when you're challenging an addiction, and the first feeling you get is you're angry that you have to give this up now. That's exactly how you know you're doing it right. And then very quickly you start to feel some kind of fear. So you know you're already feeling because under each addiction is a fear that you're trying to block out. So, and usually we go along with how we treat ourselves to get acceptance or approval from our early childhood environment. That's the attitude we all have. I'm pushed myself and I'm so hard on myself, and we're proud of that. We're very proud of that kind of status. And so, but that's an addiction. We get something by being unkind to ourselves from somebody else. So Grace is uncovering those layers. So that's how it works. That's how it looks like. You get mad. First you get mad, then you have to give it up. And then you start to feel fear. And every time you feel fear, you're going to feel like this is the one fear, that is a brand new fear, and it's worse than all the 300 other fears you released, and oh my God, this is that one. You're going to feel that every time you connect to your next fear. I laugh at myself a little bit when the fear come up going, oh, there I go. This is that bad fear. No, it's just another fear. Okay, thank you, Grace. So, Amy, do you feel like sharing what you
got? For me, what came up were just two simple things: relax and accept. Just accept whatever comes. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that will challenge your control addiction you were talking about the other day. That's really emphasizing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And acceptance seems to be of all the things I'm working on right now. It just keeps coming back to that. Just accept it. Just accept it. So
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Adrian, how's the puppy?
He's good now. He's quiet. Right now I'm dealing with a lot of like control fears and like the pressure, and my message was to let go, to pause, to breathe, to not react, to trust that, trust God, trust the divine. And those are things that I have a hard time doing. I like to react. I like to control. So, but the biggest kindness I can show to myself is to stop doing that, which is so hard.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It really helps to see how is this addiction affecting me right now in all these different areas of my life. I'll make a list: my health, money, my home, my children, my work, like my friends, the world, the environment. Make a list and then go, okay, how is this addiction affecting all of these separate areas? And by the time you've done that list, you're freaking out. You're like, this has got to stop like yesterday. And build your desire, I got to confront it. I also like what you got there for, oh, I can't remember now. Can't remember what I got there. So, okay, thank you. Lisa, do you feel like sharing? She's
Yep, I'm here.
Hi. What did you get?
Hi. Yeah, so I got, I think some of the other ladies got this too, is to play and have fun.
Okay.
Because I just feel like I just have too much of a seriousness, which is preventing me. And just keep doing things that I love to do, and to be kind and gentle with myself and stop judging myself. I've been beating myself up a lot, and I got to honor the things that I have done and accomplished, and not the ones that I haven't. To be grateful, to get into my heart space, to be at peace with who I really am, and to love myself for where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, wow, what a profound session for us all. I was feeling quite terrible and I had no idea how I was going to function today. So Amy answers how she can develop kindness is to develop the desire to see her worth, to develop it from within herself and not asking others for their opinion, because then that's an approval addiction. To regularly ask the question, what does kindness to myself look like? That's a very good question to keep asking. And how do I see my worth? Keep being gentle and patient with myself, go deep with what I really desire, seek joy and playfulness. Very, very good answers. I really appreciate your contributions today. Oh, Casey.
Great. Dharm, did you answer?
Ooh.
Did you answer for this one?
Oh, yes, right. The poetic answers. Thank you, Casey. So the answer I got was that, so I've received impression before where it's like if you see the world as a fabric of colors, or if you see the universe as a beautiful song, where and it's filled with a choir of every single human being that exists, that even though it's just one part of the total, it is an essential part of the total. To see that the light I bring or the sound of the music I add to the choir matters to the universe. And to see that it is a contribution that is necessary, even though it's just one part of infinity. And that somehow that image make me feel that my healing matters. It matters to God that I heal. It matters to the fabric of the universe that I heal and express my real self, and therefore add my thread to the weaving of the universe. Like, wow, what a romantic answer. And yeah, that definitely brings up my desire to be kind to myself, as in to allow my healing, which means to allow the time it takes to heal myself fully. It's a kindness to myself. So that's what I got. Okay, and also to receive love and help. Well, that's a negotiation. I'll keep going. Oh, I remember now, Adrian, when you said, I don't trust God, I would actually make a list. I don't trust God because, make a list. And then that makes you become aware of all the separate pain and injury you have with God. It could even be like, how do I even know you exist? Could be one of it. Make a list and become aware of all that pain. And then as you start to let yourself feel about it, it creates the space and the opening to have a relationship. All right, thank you for today.